Announced that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about what happened yesterday. Bitcoin pumped all the way to over 100,000. We're sitting at about 99,500 right now, and there are reasons for it. And I found something incredibly bullish, which shows us the way for the next year, and that indicates that Bitcoin and other cryptos are going much higher, and that could be very interesting. And I think not many people are talking about that specific fact, but we're also going to look at the altcoin market, what is hot, what is not, and we are talking a little bit about, as always, about our favorite altcoins like Vechain, Mcade, Veve, Ecomi, Veve, whatever, right? So make sure to stay all the way through. So good morning to each and every one of you. There is a little bit more excitement in the market as Bitcoin is sitting at 99,000, but I already have to tell you that we're not out of the woods yet. I will show you in a second that there can still be more downside right now from a technical perspective. But first of all, let's see who's here. Let's get this show rolling. So we have Ronai Arnold saying, "Good day, mate. BTC at 99,500. Thank God. It feels good, but we are not out of the woods yet, as I said." Jasper Frank, what is up? Trucking Hank, good morning to you. And Patrick Bultman also, good to see you. Next, Trump at the top. Will we going to fly? Oh, sorry for that one. I hope no headphone ears exploded. Will we going to fly next week? Very likely, actually. And I will show. I actually have that prepared, whether you fly after inauguration or not, in visual. So we will talk about this as well in a couple of minutes. And Motili, also good morning to you. I hope you all had a great start into the new year. Make sure to smash up the like button right now. We have 10 people here, so I want to see 10 likes right now. Whoever is able to check on that, please check on that, and then we'll get the likes, right? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, notifications on. Thank you to all the rare hodlers here behind me on the screen. I'm very thankful for all you are doing for me and for this community. So thank you very much, and let's get started. So Bitcoin having this huge pump within only 3 days, from all the way down here to all the way up here, 11.2526%. That is good, but you already see it probably by now that you are watching this channel. We have a resistance to break, and one of that is this. We should break this. So you see there are lower highs in this immediate short term, and for invalidating this head and shoulders pattern, right? That would then, if it was still active, look like this, right? This is why we are not out of the woods. We need to break this resistance here, and that would be this level, right? Why? Because then you take out this shoulder, right? They basically invalidate the pattern by taking out this level, 102,300, right? That's the level we need to break. Otherwise, it's still possible to make this the right shoulder, okay? And then there's still this target in place. There is still the lower target in place that goes to 76,000 and something, right? Which I said before would not be dramatic if we sweep that level. It would not end the bull market. It would not be dramatic. It just would feel like shit, right? It will feel like shit if that happens. So we are going to observe. There's no guarantees. Everyone who's here like, oh, patient hodler, tell me where it's going right now. My guess is it's going to break this level and up and invalidates this pattern on Inauguration Day, okay? So next Monday, right? I could imagine that we're coming back from here. Also, if you see very carefully, look down below here, you see that the RSI is following this downward sloping trend and trying to break out. We just got rejected here once again. Once we break this, we're going to fly. We did not yet, right? So if we look at it a little bit bigger, then you can see it. Yeah, I mean, we did and we didn't, right? But it's very slight. I mean, even if you would say it needs to be aligned with the previous high here, it's barely coming through, right? So here it's aligned here, it's barely coming through, just rejected again. So we're waiting for a decisive breakout, and that looks like this. Coming up, that's not decisive, that's not decisive, that is decisive, right? So coming up, retesting that, right? Okay, what happened? Well, this happened. The US inflation numbers came out, and you could say, oh, but US inflation is ticking higher, which is not good, right? This is the for all items. But the most important thing for the Fed is the core inflation, and that is coming down still. Only slightly, but still coming down. So as long as core inflation is coming down, investors are not too worried about the policy of the Fed. They are still estimating less, but still estimating rate cuts. Whereas if the core inflation, so minus food energy, would be coming up, coil up, then that would be disastrous, right? And that would mean the Fed cannot continue policy, otherwise they would put fuel on inflation. So what did we have? We have consumer price index increased a seasonally adjusted 0.4% on the month, putting the 12-month inflation at 2.9%. So the 12-month inflation here at 2.9%, that is in line with the forecast. And whenever things are meeting expectation or looking slightly bullish, the market is already reacting very positively, right? And the CPI, the core inflation, it did not meet expectation. It actually was better. So people expected this to go 3.3, and it actually came down a little bit, right? So still high energy prices, still the aftermath of massive money printing during the C crisis, and so on. Okay. So that is the reason why we pumped back, because basically rate cuts, many rate cuts were priced out. Now this comes in better than expected. Well, some of the rate cuts get priced in again, right? So that's basically what happens. In the following, we had Fidelity here we see it, Fidelity buying 463.1 million in Bitcoin. And by Fidelity buying, I mean investors using Fidelity ETF are buying, and that leads to, I think, the second highest inflow ever recorded for the Fidelity Spot ETF, which is pretty big, right? Do we already have the 10 likes? Because now we have 15 people, so please smash up the like button, get us to 15 likes here, and let's keep this. Let's keep calling more people in, right? Also, let me know what you think about this, especially when I come to the good part, right? So, Bitcoin very likely only on the beginning stages, and look at that. Someone created this, and I think it's great because it actually shows what is going to happen somewhere in the future, right? So, hey Big A, thank you very much. So, could it be reality one day? Yes, it could, because if you would put out a for sale sign today, you'd probably put up 4 BTC, right? Or I don't know, 6 BTC. Yeah. And a couple of cycles ago, you would have put up 100 BTC, yeah, or much more, right? So you see that the house prices are going down versus BTC, and that's exactly how you should measure it, right? So keep this in mind. If you have 0.1 or more BTC, this will become reality very soon, probably. I mean, it's probably not next cycle, but maybe the cycle afterwards or something like that, right? So if BTC goes to 3 million or something like that, you have 0.1. Yeah, maybe you are close to this, right? If BTC goes way higher than that, it only depends on money printing, right? The nominal house price in dollars then would be, I don't know, that at 3 million it would be 300K. So that would be a very tiny house. But you know, you get where I'm going with this, right? Yeah, exactly. It's not even 0.1 BTC to smash a like. It's free. Yeah. But anyways, you know where I'm getting with this. Michael Saylor predicts 13 million Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is at 13 million, a house costs 1.3 million. There you go, 0.1 BTC. Okay. So it's only a matter of time and only a matter of adoption, right? But the adoption is very fast. It's faster than the adoption of the internet. It's faster than the adoption of mobile phones, as we saw before. Okay, now I'm coming to the juicy part, right? This really, let me explain. I know it's not that easy, right? But okay, what you're looking at is the blue line is the Bitcoin price, right? Here's our last cycle, bear market, our current cycle, right? And what we have here in the other part is the central bank assets, right? The balance sheet, basically. So in the end of our previous bull market, central banks have been selling off assets. At some point, they have been rebuying assets, but overall they have been selling off, right? And they have not bought like here in this beginning stage. So now, what does this show us? Well, we have somewhat of a momentum band here also in green and then in red, and it only flips green if the central bank assets are going green, right? And then a cross indicator for central bank buying or selling, right? And what you can see is whenever the central bank is buying, with a lag of a couple of weeks and months, the Bitcoin price pumps, right? So for example, here, the central bank offloads assets and then purchases. We went all the way from, what was that, 15,000 or so to 30,000. And then we had another sell-off phase and we went sideways during that phase until we had another purchase and Bitcoin went from 30K to all the way to 71,000, right? And then we had another big sideways, like selling off here, and Bitcoin went 6-7 months sideways. And recently, the central bank is buying again, and boom, we have another pump, right? So the only thing that I question myself, and why I think that's so incredibly bullish, is what happens if central banks start buying like here? What happens if central bank balance sheet goes up like this from here? That would technically, this downward sloping balance sheet would say that we are still in a bear market. that would technically be what it would say, right? I know that I'm saying that we are not in the beginning of a bear market, right? And there's other factors to pump the price up, but the quantitative easing has not really started yet. We only had rate cuts. The dollar is still going up. The balance sheet is still going down. We didn't have really a reversal here, right? As we had here in the very beginning, right? So here's the reversal. And then prices start coming out of the slump. And then it completely explodes as the money printer goes on and assets are being bought, loaded up in the balance sheets. And boom, here's the vertical. Here's the real deal of the market, right? And the question is, could that mean that we still have all of this in front of us during 2025? Or will this be much more subtle, right? And I think that's incredibly bullish, because some type of quantitative easing will happen to help the economy. The question is if something breaks first, right? Good. Andre Omegek says, GM guys, best greetings from Frankfurt. Greetings to Bankfurt, no problem. Hope you have a great day. Good day to you too. There we go. Now the thing that Inauguration Day, right? Inauguration Day analysis, right? So we are here. Inauguration Day is away 4 days. And that is where we are looking at, and then we look at the inauguration of Biden in 2021. We had a dump into the inauguration like we had right now, after a pump like we had right now. So look, let's put these two one to one so that you can see both. So we have a bumpy sideways action. We have a bumpy sideways action. We come up in the pump. We come up in the pump. We correct into Inauguration Day. We correct into Inauguration Day. And a couple of days after, we are resuming our rally until the next pullback. Okay, so let's look at the other cycle. The last time that there was Inauguration Day for Trump, that was here. Pullback into Inauguration Day. A little bit before that, the price coils up, has another pullback, and then goes on massive rally. So if history repeats itself after Inauguration Day, we're going to pump. Okay. So the question is it bullish? Very likely, yes. Very likely. Very likely it's bullish. We will see. But if history repeats, it's bullish. Another thing that's bullish is that even right now, the Ballinger band tightness is at its lowest since January of last year, right? Usually, that means whenever they get very tight, that means breakout, right? So the last time that we had tightened Ballinger bands like this, where when we went from 30K to 40 something thousand, and then from 35,000 all the way to 71,000, and then this massive sideways. Now we have very tight Ballinger bands again. If history is any indication, we also should pump because of that. And then here's the next FUD though. Let me also inform about this. This might be the reason why the US government has done test transaction on the Silk Road. And this is 3D chess against the Trump administration, okay? So listen to this. US government says 120,000 Bitcoin stolen in 2016 hack should be returned to Bitfinex. Okay? For the foreign reasons, there is no victim for the specific offenses of conviction in this proceeding. However, the court has the authority to order voluntary restitution pursuant to the defendant's plea agreements. Such voluntary restitution should include all of the assets seized from the Bitfinex hack wallet, and that pursuant to plea agreements, those assets should be returned to Bitfinex as in-kind restitution. So if you have lost anything on Bitfinex, way time ago in 2016, mainly Bitcoin, I think only Bitcoin, in this hack, then you might get this money back. That also means that the US government can send 120,000 Bitcoin back to Bitfinex without being the asshole to say, strategic reserves unfortunately is only now 80,000 Bitcoin, right? That's left from Silk Road or whatever, right? So they can basically FUD the market. They can send more than half of what's planned for the strategic reserve back to Bitfinex, which they didn't do in the past 8 years. Why? I don't know. And they can do that without being accused of, you just want to harm Trump's Bitcoin reserve plans, right? So that's crazy, right? Hey Johnny Dunn, what's going on? How's the Pokemon journey going? Link, we are going to look at Link in a second. I'm looking at it in a second. Actually, let's do this right now. So let's get to altcoins. So this is the FUD, but remember that even 120,000 Bitcoin distributed over a longer time would be easily absorbed by the market at this point. By the way, we're heading to 30 people here, so smash up the like button. Once again, please smash up the like button and show me your altcoins that you want to look at. Let's look at some altcoins and how they are doing. So let's look at Link, let's look at XRP. So I said this before, right? I mean, you remember when I highlighted this retest here on Chainlink. Chainlink for me in the bear market was the most incredible one to look out for because they formed the space and then they broke out of it. And it was so clear-cut bullish, right? So in my opinion, if the market goes on, Chainlink probably will just continue the rise after this mini chop here. So that the wave 3 looks something like this. You will always have waves within waves, right? I mean, could you technically argue that you somehow have a pattern here? Yes, maybe, right? Something like this. It's definitely bullish setup, in my opinion. Could we retrace more? Also possible. By the way, Chainlink had the same situation in small playing out that Bitcoin is forming right now. So look at this. So Chainlink had a little bit of a head and shoulders situation going on here, right? So head and shoulders, and then everyone was like, oh, it's coming up, and then it failed like Bitcoin right now. So this downtrend, right? And then it swept the lows, and then it came up. Just like Bitcoin, right? So this sweeping of the levels is still in the cards for Bitcoin, right? So you remember that I said the big pattern is actually the big pattern for Bitcoin. Let's go into the weekly chart at least for Bitcoin. The big pattern is this, right? So the big pattern is this here, where you already broke out, right? But you want this retest, to be honest, to continue. So the Bitcoin retest here on this pattern is, it's 79,000, something like that, right? So really, it would hurt, right? So if you go on inverse, it looks like what we just saw on Chainlink, right? You basically have on inverse a head and shoulders that broke and then continues, right? So let's see. You want, in my opinion, you want this. If you say you have the biggest inverse head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin that you've ever seen in the history, it broke out, you want the confirmation of that. And the confirmation point, in my opinion, if we would flush down with a wick here, it can be within days. It would be 79,000 if we would go all the way to this level, right? I think that's not too bad, right? Okay, so let's get back to Link. So Link did this. They went all the way back to $8 when they already were at 21, and I think Link is just big fat bullish. Okay, so let's look at XRP. Hey, Walrus King, what's up? Good to see you. XRP, you also remember, like we XRP. This is like XRP is playing the biggest bullish setup, right? You come all the way, like, remember there were some YouTubers, I remember, I don't know if you know these YouTubers, but there were some YouTubers back in the days that said XRP is like a dead penny stock, right? Because it has these spikes, right? And they were saying, oh, there will be only a small bump fooling everyone, and then it will go down. And what it did is it did fool every bear, and it just broke out all the way. And now we have this other upper head resistance here, which it just retested basically, and now it's continuing to rise. And I think from the all-time high, which is not even here on this chart, I don't know, let's see if it's on somewhere else, if we have this history somewhere else. Also here, by the way, you remember this? This is way old. This is super old. This is super old TA, where we just, I think that was on logarithmic, by the way. Yeah. That was this, right? And I think I myself didn't believe it. I just said, okay, so if this would break, then technically it would be this, but ridiculous, right, on breakout. And it actually hit this target, right? It actually hit this target. So at the time, I thought this was ridiculous. So I should believe more into TA, because, I mean, look, it hit the target, it came back down and is firing again. That's crazy. So I should believe more in my own TA, because I did not believe that. So yeah, that is XRP. Let's look at some of the altcoins. So for example, AVAX USDT. How is AVAX look? Actually, so this is invalidated, right? Because so this is not a 5-wave move. I don't know what AVAX is doing there, but it's, yeah, so this is not, let's see. This is actually not what we thought it would be. So it's still on an uptrend, and I would even argue it's still, take this wick, it's still playing the resistance here, but it didn't really break out yet, it seems, right? So you have it's the same setup as Vechain, yeah. So it's not really anything clear cut here, because I mean, what you could have is maybe we can adjust here. This is the big resistance, right? From the last, this was the last bull market support for AVAX, last bull market support here, where it also, by the way, had a head and shoulders, and then boom, it lost the support. So this is where you basically go out, right? Because with the rest of the bag, because you've been profit taking all the way, and then, right? So on this line, yes, on this line you would have this kind of this setup. Yeah, it didn't break out yet. I would say it didn't break out yet on previous bull market support. Can you take a look at SUI? Absolutely. SUI USDT. SUI, so for SUI, I would say this 5-wave move is definitely still in the cards, right? So, and this is not a prediction where this move ends. It's just that I believe that it will move in 5 waves, right? So where you have a very deep wave to correction and boom, you go, right? And we did that. We broke out of that. And we are on the rise, right, for SUI. So for SUI, there's not much to say. Like lower time frame, maybe. Let's see. For SUI, there's not much to say other than it broke here this previous high. It retested. It is on the rise, and it's price discovery. It's price discovery, right? What you can say is though that we are right now nor overbought nor oversold. In my opinion, on not in the absolutely exaggerated overbought territory, but closer. And looking at, we will see. I mean, you have to wait and see, because I think this is where you gradually take some profits the higher it goes, right? And not much, because not a financial advisor and so on, you know that, guys. I mean, you do your own research. And also, I don't have any stakes here to shill SUI or so, because I actually did miss SUI. So if you have SUI, congratulations. If you have it since the lows, congratulations even more, because SUI is up from here 1000%. So you are up at 10x, right? So in my opinion, there's no harm in taking initial investment at some point, right? Because you're up 10x, right? On the other hand, you want to have a bag to ride, because the Bitcoin dominance doesn't really imply that we are anywhere finished, right? So here's Bitcoin. Let's put it on weekly, otherwise you can't even see the line. Okay, there we go. Bitcoin dominance doesn't really imply that we are anywhere near an altcoin top. So, but I'm a friend of gradual taking profit. As I said, like if you're 10x in a profit, taking some small profit, no one ever got broke from taking profit in profits, right? Good night from Southern California. Could you look at XLM and ADA, please? Yes, I will do. Today is a good day to look at. So XLM, USDT. Let's take a look at this. So XLM has the same setup as, it's funny because it faked out here, right? So this is not straight. Here you go. It faked out and came back. It's the same setup as XRP. It seems to follow XRP somehow. It was massively overbought. Massively. Like if you see an RSI over 90, you technically can take profits, right? Because I mean, look at this. Like everywhere, it's on Bitcoin. I mean, on the weekly and even like on the weekly, on the monthly, stuff like that, right? For example, here you see it. Okay, that's an 80, so you're not there yet. But if you see a 90 on the monthly or on the weekly, you technically can say, okay, that's good for seeing profits. Let's see how this TSI looks in a week or two, right? With massive buying here. I'm not sure if this corrective move is over. Not sure. Could look like this also, right? For XLM, I would be cautious because it's clear that massive profit taking happens near the previous high, the previous cycle high, which was 81 cents, and quite frankly on other altcoins I would also take profit close to the previous all-time high, because you never know. You saw it from XRP, you never know how high you will really go, or if people will just take profit and it goes into longer correction before you go again, right? Based on the Bitcoin dominance, I would assume that we would at some point challenge this high and then break out into something new. Okay, so how much history is there? XLM is pretty old, right? You see this, for example, there. I can't see what the last cycle was, but I mean, XLM is super weird. It's a weird chart to look at, in my opinion. But I think if you would say, I'd say usually after push like this, there's a longer cool off and then another push, right? So yeah, I mean, you can't complain about the performance. Let's take just the pump. So from the pump to where we are right now, you have a 5x, right? 5.3x. You can't complain about that. So in taking initial investment is never wrong, because you can't lose after that. When you're 5x in profit, you can't lose after that. Unless you just put $50, and I mean, even then, right? You have $250 now, like talking to a very small pockets. You put in $50. You have a 5x. I mean, here we see that XLM is just coming up again. So technically, I mean, it's a weekly. You technically can wait and see what happens with Inauguration Day, right? Because there's no point here to act. But if you see that you lose the support once again, then maybe there's a reason to take your initial investment, right? I think, in my opinion, it's never wrong. You can never go wrong with, after 5x, 7x, 10x, taking your initial investment, you still have a massive moonback, which basically can't lose anymore. It's like moving your stop loss in a trade, right? Only that with your moonback, you can't get liquidated. The worst that can happen is that the coin goes to zero and you don't have as much profit, right? Okay. What was the other one? ADA. Oh yeah, ADA is very interesting because Charles Hoskinson is so close to shaping the whole industry. Yeah, ADA is very clear. It looks more clear, right? You have the previous bull market support, which eventually broke, where you broke above and retest confirmed basically more upside, in my opinion, right? I think we will challenge fairly soon for ADA the previous all-time high, like we did with XLM, which would be another 189% move, right? And then definitely here, somewhere close to this level, probably at this level. So for me, the profit taking would be at around 220. And when I say profit taking, I'm not talking about taking everything. I'm talking about taking a first chunk, maybe even at 2, right? Here. That would be another 80% move from here. And a total of, here's the absolute bottom, 800% and 9x from the bottom. That's not too shabby to take the first profit, right? What do you reckon about VThor? Yesterday, we talked about the new roadmap. So I wouldn't buy VTHO and rather buy VET token, because VTHO is inflationary, but the VTHO, I have some VTHO, not because I bought it, but because I staked my Vechain during the entire bear market. Yeah, so I personally wouldn't buy VTHO. Wait a sec. So let's see. This is crucial resistance, right? This here. Again, it's the this is something that always makes sense, right? Here's your previous bull market support, right? Here. Previous bull market support. You can see it here, bam, bam, bam. Eventually broke it, right? And then now it's under it, and you have stuff like this. Eventually, maybe it will come up here. I mean, definitely, if it breaks above this, it will probably fire, and then I will sell my VTHO, right? That's what I'm waiting for. I mean, I was staking for 3 years or so. I got, I don't know how many tens of thousands of VTHO because of that. And well, if it breaks above and goes back to all-time high, that would be a 10x on my free VTHO, right? So this level, I'm probably going, and with this like free coins, I'm not as hesitant, right? Somewhere at this level where it gets closer to the all-time high, I'd probably sell a bigger part, like half of the VTHO, and then see what happens. That's my idea, at least. Definitely, that's the idea. Also, quick thing on the Bitcoin price, right? Whether we are pumping right now or not, or retesting that pattern or not, right? We should keep a look at the cycle indicators, what they're saying, right? One is the pi cycle indicator, top indicator. It was correct here for the pre-top, like this first top, which is, in my opinion, the better profit-taking point. So even if we would get a situation like this, I would still take this as a great signal, right? It was correct here, and it was correct 2 times here, back here, right? That's a pi cycle indicator. Whenever these two lines cross, they are not close to each other right now. Okay. What's the price on this? 96,000. Yeah, that's basically where we are right now. We were closer actually here, and then we rallied again. So if we get a pump, it will extend the lines and not pull them closer together. And the other one for me that is very important is the MVRVZ score, which is this one. It shows, it's the realized value against market value, basically. And it shows overextension in the market, and in every market, there was bull market peak that there was we reached at least a value of 7, okay? Considering the last cycle that was somehow crippled, right? It's this one here, 7, at least 7, which is a good basis for saying, okay, now the top is near, right? So here it was, coincides with pi cycle indicator, tops, right? MVRVZ score. Right now, we are at 2.56. The region that we're looking at to go is 7, or close to 7, right? This red band. We're nowhere near. So in my opinion, that's also very crucial. There are many more things that we can look at, right? This Bitcoin Magazine Pro and whatnot. So it's not, I am not paying for that. It's just the name of the site, Bitcoin Magazine Pro. Let's see if we can pull up here something. I've not looked at things like this. Reserve risk. Also, like reserve risk, you see this indicator band. We're not in the red zone, anywhere near the red zone, it seems. We're just out of the green. Well, interesting. What does it do? Reserve risk is a Bitcoin chart that allows us to visualize the confidence amongst long-term Bitcoin holders relative to the price of Bitcoin at any given moment in time. When confidence is high and price is low, then there is an attractive risk reward to invest in Bitcoin at that time, green zone. When confidence is low and price is high, then risk reward is unattractive, red zone. Okay, so we haven't entered the red zone since 2017. So based on only that one indicator, you would have missed everything, because we would have said in the middle of the zone that we are not there yet, right? So we can't go just by one indicator on its own, right? We can't, because then we are completely wrecked. There's a good chance we get wrecked anyways by something unexpected, but at least we're minimizing our risk. Now, Ecomi, the most difficult one to look at, right? Heavily played by whales, slightly in the green right now. I'm still hopeful that we somehow put in a higher low here on a more macro basis. The volume is back to almost non-existent. I think that this will happen when the altcoin market is coming back and firing, which is only partially the case right now. So hopefully then we can see something like this, right? And then put in a higher high here, and then we have the serious higher lows and higher highs, right? That's what we want to see, okay? But we are not there yet. And quite frankly, there are a couple of things. Yesterday I've been defending a little bit, right, about Ecomi Veve, but there are also a couple of things that really get on my nerves, and I want to be quite frank with you. So one of them is this, right? So this person, of course, given that this is true, right? I can't verify if this is true, but let's put it here. So this guy, in Veve Collectibles and Friends groups, Callum Mcade, says, "Hey peeps, I haven't used Veve in approximately 3 years. Decided today to log in. After effing around, I managed to get in. According to the app, I have nothing. I've heard you need to KYC your account, so how the fuck do I do that? I've tried all options in the settings and profile and nothing is there. Any suggestions?" So I think that whatever you had in the past, you should at least be able to KYC and then get your account back. Now we know that accounts are set to dormant, but I mean we're in the Web3 age. So it can't be that someone bought stuff 3 years ago and then when he comes back, nothing's there anymore, right? So I hope that this is solvable with the help of support, because otherwise this would be a problem, because otherwise you have to fear that something changes all the time, even when you're not looking at your collectibles for a year or so and everything's gone, right? It also means you can't really recommend this to your friends and family, because I did so to some people, and these people might run into the same problem. They go to their app once the bull market is back and everything's gone, right? That can't happen. So Veve needs to find a solution for this. At least everyone who's coming back, at least a notification, your account is dormant. Please do KYC, and then you get then you will be able to access your assets. That's crucial, right? Because if you can't guarantee ownership, even in a walled garden, but at least the level of ownership where you can access your stuff if you don't go against terms of service and whatnot, then that's problematic, because no one will trust, everyone will be fearful, and you don't want to put your assets into something where you can't have them permanently, right? And there's the other level where you have full ownership in the sense of self-custody, right? That would be the next level, but at least the level where you can KYC and control your assets at any given point, at least within Veve, that needs to be given, right? So ranting here a little bit, but I hope that is perceived as constructive criticism, because I think that's necessary. That you can say, oh, look, this person came back after 4 years into a wallet and now it's worth X, right? So let's say in a bull run. Because in a bull run, you will see like we have 660K registered wallets, of which probably 200,000 or so are bots, right? Or more. Bot wallets that will never come back. But there are hundreds of thousands of wallets that potentially, when prices come back in an NFT run, given the narrative hits, they will come back and they will all run into the same problem. So you will, if you change this now, you will avoid massive FUD once prices are coming back, right? So that you can avoid the FUD now. Yeah. Troy Perez says it's a good rant. I think we all have lots of these concerns. Yeah, exactly. I think that is and why are we concerned? Because we see that this app with all the brands is really good, right? I mean, the app itself on the mobile phone is not that good, but Veve in itself is such a good concept. It's correct to bet on it, but they need to change these things. The other thing that they need to change is they need to finally get performance on this mobile app. If yesterday I was like, okay, let's see, like Galactus, that's nice, let's log in. Oh, let's browse the market. And then I clicked on market, it's like 10 seconds loading. I'm already pissed off, right? Because I'm just not willing to sit there and wait. This was 1998 or something, logging into the internet. That was the time for waiting that long. Not right now. I want to have smooth browsing. If I have smooth browsing, I will browse the market and pick up gems or pick up things that are on low price. But I'm not doing that right now because I just can't browse the way I do, right? Yeah. Dan O says, agree, Veve charges way too much money to think they can just cancel people's account for being inactive. Yeah, one thing is about the money, but even if they would only charge 1 gem, I wouldn't be on that app if they can just cancel accounts, right? So, not cancel, but take away assets. Yeah, exactly. So there needs to be guarantee for as long as Veve exists that these assets exist. That's the minimum guarantee. JKRB says, love, Veve needs more work. Yeah, 100%. I probably will post the same thing on Twitter, tagging Ben Rose and maybe some others. For these two or these improvements I see right now, and they need to be done, because why are people coming back after 3 years? Well, because crypto excitement is coming back. And they say, oh, crypto's coming back, my altcoins are back, let's look at Veve, right? So this is the point to present something improved to them. Yeah. Troy Pierce also says, yes, my Veve browsing time is really down as of late. Yeah, exactly. Because one thing is the app being improved, you have to find your way. That's normal. You improve something, you bring a new interface, buttons are at different places, people get irritated just because of that. But they adjust, they get accustomed to this, they get used to it. But if the experience is slower than before, and it is slower than before, then definitely you will not even use it so that you get trained to new functions. Yeah, exactly. So, and this is the Galactus collectible. It's looking really good. The drop mechanic is awesome. It involves MCP, it involves previous collectible where it reduces the supply and so on. That is awesome. The phone app seems to be an extension of web app that needs to manually load each page. Exactly. That's what it's looking like. Is that even fixable without having loading times? If it's not fixable, then they have to bring a new app version where it works, right? I mean, there is a way, and you can't tell me that a couple of developers can't bring speed to the app. I mean, it's just not possible to. whatever you have to do, like there is a way in today's ages. If not, ask fucking AI how to do it, right? Galactus looks awesome. I agree. Yeah, it looks awesome. Also, there's Captain America. What is this? First appearance of Serpent Society. Captain America drop. Another white panel one. Great. Galactus is in 2 days, by the way. So I see that a lot of people listed their Silver Surfer to take profit. I'm curious how high this will go. I think there will be severe lag just because of the app usage, right? The interesting thing is that user numbers are still going up, right? So people are downloading the app, trying it out, buying at least one collectible or so. That's still happening, right? Given that these are, we can't really see the difference because of this massive airdrop. Unfortunately, we'll have to deal with this another month or so. But you can see that from 665, 862 to 960, that's about 100 users, right, across the last days, or 100 wallets, let's put it that way. Well, yeah, that's basically that on the Veve side. Yeah, so I will hopefully I have time today to bring a tweet about this. And hopefully they will hear us, right? And maybe this tweet can then be followed up by just sharing, liking, constructive. There will be the usual suspects under it. It's like, why are you still trying? This is a rug pull, blah blah blah. But I like the whole concept. I love the community. Let's put it that way. And therefore, I think the community deserves a well-working app where they can enjoy their collectibles, and they are also, in my opinion, entitled and allowed to walk away for 2 years and then come back and find their collectibles in the same way, right? Or better. Anyways, guys, I have to jump now. Thank you very much for the discussion, the participation. Thank you for bringing in your favorite altcoins. Troipers, thank you very much for that. $20 donation. The widget didn't go off anymore, but thank you for that. Love the energy. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, to all of you. Thank you very much for the support that you are giving me each and every day by liking, by just being here, by discussing, and the ones that are subscribed as rare hodlers such as Troy and all the others here. Thank you very much for the continuous support, and wherever you are for the world, on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you in the next live stream or video. Bye.